Welcome to this episode of Mountaineer Legends Pregame. This is the podcast. Hey, we're coming to you now from the Trilogy Innovation Studio right here in Morgantown.
Right in Morgantown.
Right here in Morgantown. Good to be here. I wasn't planning on being here. I was supposed to go back to Florida.
That's right.
But you know what? There was a little tropical storm brewing down there, Randy, and I decided, well, you know what? I'm just going to stay. And then I got to thinking, hey, there is a football game going on this weekend.
Yeah.
You know, I'm recovered from the pit loss.
Right.
It still stings a little, but hey, we're getting into Big 12 play, and I'm just happy to be here with you.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk a little bit about everything.
Right.
All right. But first, we got to thank our folks there at Little General Stores. Hey, the best convenience there is. Anywhere in the state of West Virginia, stop off, grab something to eat. Quick stop.
I've heard that they have something also with those. Is a Dunkin' Donuts. Can you confirm that?
Oh yeah, I know the one down St. Albans Way has a Dunkin' Donut, and you know, they just offer all kinds of little nuances. You know, hey, fuel, food, and I tell you something else too. And I made a point to stop in at several Little Generals in my travels. You know, and you walk in and folks are so kind to you and smiling, and you know they like their job, and that's because they like who they're working with and the team that Greg Darby has put together all across the state. Heck yeah, man! Thank you, Greg, and thank you, Little General.
Yes,
thank you, Little General. We appreciate you, man.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you. But anyway, hey, real quick. And I don't want to beat the dead mule, all right?
No.
Because here we are. And
I was pretty upset on Saturday. I ain't gonna lie. Oh my God, I am not gonna lie.
We all were, because you know here we are on that big stage again against the arch rival.
Yeah.
The backyard brawl. I mean, the stage is set. Yeah. The atmosphere up there was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's just as many Mountaineer fans there as there is Pitt. Actually, I know some of my neighbors bought Pitt season tickets because it was cheaper to do that than try to get a single game for that.
Heck yeah.
They hadn't sold out since the last time we had played them. Right, so they want to keep this rivalry alive because they actually get to sell out all the hotels, I'm sure, around there, all the food places. They love this, the backyard brawl.
Heck yeah! Well, as we do when it comes to our house.
Yeah.
You know, it's such a great game, and you know the hype going into it. Of course, we were there at the Sheraton for our show, and you know Daryl Talley, Mike Fox, Major, and me and you sitting there at the table talking football, and then we went over from there. And as a group, we went over and went to an alumni event that was put on by the MAC. And let me tell you, what a good time that was. I mean, we were right in the center of all of it, you know. And here come these, you know, 4 Mountaineer legends rolling in there, man. And it was just fun. The atmosphere was great.
Yeah.
The tent parties were great. Yeah. Everything was. And I'll tell you, honestly, the game was a great football game.
It was a great game.
Okay, if I'm just Joe Schmo watching this Pitt game, West Virginia game on TV, I'm watching a heck of a daggone football game because it's back and forth.
Well, that's just it. You know, it really is a brawl. It's a brawl. I smack you in the mouth, you smack me in the mouth.
That's right.
Back and forth, back and forth. Right?
It is.
Yeah.
It absolutely is. And you know, of course, I didn't go into the game. I watched it on TV, you know, and some of the things you can see and pick out, but there was a lot of energy. There was a lot of pretty good football getting played. There were some big plays. There was some penalties, obviously. There was all kinds of things that happened within the game. But as far as like, you know, doing the things and playing the game and being excited and having high energy, you know, I saw that until as we all talk about, you know.
Well, and in fairness, so last week we even talked about this on the podcast last week. You know, watch out for Pitt. They came back. They were down 2 touchdowns or something to Cincinnati the week before.
Yes, sir.
They come back and they won 28-27, right? And if you look at any great team, that's the key. No matter if you're down or up or whatever, it's being able to close out a game. right? You look at what Kansas City does. It doesn't matter what the score is. You never know if Kansas City's going to come back. And that's really what we need to get back to. I remember whenever, even with Pat White and Steve Slayton and them, like I never worried that, hey, even when we were down to Pitt back in 2007, be worried that, hey, we're not going to come back. I just felt it in my soul. I didn't worry about, because I knew those guys could do it and make it happen. Like I want to get back to those days of being at that kind of level and that energy and that excitement. But again,
to finish, to finish,
to finish the job.
That's the most important piece, because until the zeros show up on that scoreboard, there's an opportunity to score or stop a score. Right. That game ain't over till it's over. I mean, as cliche as that is, that's the nature of the beast, man. Yeah. And if you go back to last year's Houston game, we lost it on the very last play, and it just ain't over until it's over. So and we all talk, in football perspective, for me, it comes in two components. I've been a football player in the locker room, and I've been a football coach working with those guys in the locker room. Yeah. And we always talk about there's about 5 key plays in any football game that determine its outcome. Okay. Yeah. Now you never know when them 5 plays are coming. That's the problem. Right, yeah, okay. Exactly. So what's that tell you? That tells you that on every single play, as a player, I got a job to do, and the guy next to me has a job to do, and collectively we're going to breathe life into this play that's called, and even if it's the wrong play, right? Yeah. Even if it's the worst call in the playbook, if everybody that's out there executes and does their job to the best of their ability, that play is going to have success. Again, this game is determined by those few plays because of momentum and shifts and field position and all those components. But it's also the energy, the momentum. You get excited about big plays and things that happen within the game. So it provides you juice, or it takes the juice out of your opponent. Right. And those kinds of things. And you just never know when they're coming, man. So guess what? I got to trust that the guy next to me is going to do his job. Yeah. And we're going to do it. We're going to do it collectively together, and we're going to earn positive yardage. Yep. We're going to earn positive yardage. We're going to take the land that they're standing on. My buddy Billy Mack's sitting there, man. He always, he reminds me of some things that I say in land acquisition. This game is mano a mano. Yeah. You're standing on my turf, and I'm coming to I'm going to take it, and I'm going to move this ball across the finish line. Yeah. And look at what we did against Pitt. We had 5 sacks. Yeah. We were hurrying. We had pressure. We were doing good things. We did good things all game long, but then again, we're up. Now defense, this falls on you, and we're exposed. Our secondary is struggling. All right, our underneath coverage is struggling. We had a play call, and I know that Leslie's owned up to it, and he had a play call, and the guy that was blitzing got knocked off his track, and it was unsuccessful, and he was able to use his feet, that quarterback, and make a play. Yeah. So, that happens. Oh, yeah. All right? Those types of things are going to happen. But,
he ate up some yardage on us.
Dude.
A lot.
What? Chunks.
Yeah.
But I'm not a DB.
It was 3rd and 20 on that one. Like, you have them down, and then you just let up. It was like,
3rd and what?
3rd and 20.
3rd and 20.
20.
Okay? That means you've got to get, folks, 20 yards for a first down. Okay? Yeah. Now, what happens? What happens? Like I said, I'm not a DB. Right. I wouldn't want to be a DB. I wouldn't want to coach DBs. That is I have conversations with freaking, Aaron Beasley and Mike Collins, who have been part of this Mountaineer Legends pregame with us. Yeah. And you talk to these guys, and that's a lonely position out there. You're out there on an island by yourself, kind of, So things, but as a it's common sense, man. Yeah. Don't let the guy run by you.
Yeah.
He's got to run 20 yards.
Like
if he
Daryl
gets
said,
behind
put a hand on him.
Put a hand on him, knock him off his route, run with him, quit looking at the ball.
Right.
Let the box worry about the ball at the line of scrimmage, all right? Let those guys do what they're supposed to do with their pressures and their underneath coverages. But as a DB, especially when you got a three-deep shell, you got one safety back there, all right? While we're not in cover two with two safeties out there, I don't know. That's not for me to judge that call, right? However, don't get behind me.
Never let, and I'm coaching flag football, and that's the one thing I told my kids is just don't let the guy behind you. And sure enough, he'd be watching the ball or wasn't paying attention. They'd get a touchdown. I go over to him. I'm like, do you see that? That is a lesson learned.
It's football
that's what I'm
101.
saying. 101, and that's the problem. Or maybe it's not a problem, but it seems like it is. There's some fundamental underlying things. You were saying, hey, this is cliche or this sounds cliche, but it's these fundamental things, just like putting a hand on them. What does that do? Let's get inside and understand the basics of don't ever let them behind you. Get a hand on them. It slows them down because it is a game of inches and a game of seconds, right?
Yeah.
So if you're bumping him off, just like you just said, the reason why we didn't get any pressure, they bumped off the linebacker or whoever it was that was blitzing. And what happened? They got a first down, right? We got to somehow get back to the smallest thing, the basics. We talked about Steph Curry before. The reason why he makes all of his shots, he practices the basics and the fundamentals. All the greats, that's exactly what they do. Even Kobe Bryant, he was like, why are you doing the most basic of drills? You're Kobe Bryant. He said, that's why I'm Kobe Bryant, right? Because you're doing the basics. And it seems like we've lost track of that. You also mentioned, the whole cliche, we were like, turnovers matter. We had 2 interceptions, right?
They didn't have any.
They didn't have any. We had 2 turnovers. That's -2. And we still only lost by 4 in the very last seconds. But that shows you how good you can do and everything, but how that can make you pay.
Oh, gosh, yes.
And if you're not focused on, hey, we got to win the turnover battle, either causing them or preventing them.
That's right.
I mean, again, fundamentals, and that just seems to be lacking.
The key word you used, Randy, is practice.
Yeah.
So in practice, you've got to create simulations that are game-like.
Yes, 100%.
Okay? You can't be out there running around wearing short pants and
going through the motions.
And you got to take it to. That simulation's got to be game-like.
Yes.
During the week, you don't have to tear each other apart, with the contact. And I understand the game and all that now has evolved and changed and blah, blah, this. But when you're in a preparation drill, in order for me to go full speed on game day,
right,
I gotta be able to I gotta run the throttle every now and then.
Exactly.
Right? In preparation. Because again, when now it's real and you're on the stage and all the excitement and all the fans and everything's going and you got so many other distractions now, you gotta be focused enough and you've had to have rehearsed it enough that when you're in that moment, you make the right decision. If the engine burns out, right? I still have another engine, and I can still fly this thing and get it to the airstrip, right? You see what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely.
So again, it's the preparation, and it's what you're being taught, okay? As a coach, are you teaching these techniques?
Right.
Now, if you are, and we're doing it in practice, and then you don't do it in a game as a player, that's on you.
Oh, yeah.
And that's on me as a coach to get in your face on the sideline and get it fixed right now.
Right.
Or the adjustment must be a personnel exchange.
Yes.
Get that guy off the field and give some other kid a chance and see what they got.
Yeah.
Okay? But again, at the end of the day, what am I teaching? How am I teaching it? And how does it translate to the real stage on Saturday?
Right.
And again, that falls on the coach's shoulders.
Right.
When it starts at Neil Brown, and the excuses and credit this guy and credit that guy. We ought to be crediting ourselves here.
Right.
there. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
let's figure it out. I don't want to keep hearing, we got to get better.
Else.
We got to get better. You know, credit Pitt's offense, credit Pitt's this. Yeah, whatever. But damn.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, we're in year 6 here, dude.
Yeah.
You know,
you can say the right things, but it's time to do the right thing.
You got to show me, man.
You got to show it.
You got to. Right? My dad always said, quit talking about it. Yeah. Show me.
Because now, I'll tell you, as Mountaineer fans, the trust is busted. And I hate to say that, but it really is. Like they're not believing in it anymore. They don't.
Okay.
Because we're 6 years in. You have a guy that you brought in with you from Troy that you recruited. This is his 5th year, right, at quarterback. His 5th year, and we're still seeing things that you would see with a sophomore. Happening, unfortunately, and that's the biggest thing. Like Neil was one of the nicest guys I ever met. Garrett Green's a really great guy too, but there's these underlying fundamental things that we seem to be missing out on, and I'm sure they're chewing them out at the practices and stuff, but if they aren't performing, and he might be absolutely amazing in practice. I know everybody says, oh, what about Nico? But Nico might not be doing the things that he has to do in practice to get on the field. And with someone that is a 5th-year senior, that's who you think you want leading the crew, right? But whenever it comes to game day and you're overthrowing these short, easy passes and you're not making the right decisions or reading the defense, it's like get in the film room and study. Like you need to be calling audibles, because if you see a guy that's going to be blitzing, you need to bring it in to protect you, to make sure you're getting that ball out quick, right? And it's those type of things that we're just not seeing so far this year with this team.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah,
I couldn't agree more. But to throw in the towel at this point, again, I'm going back to being a player.
Yeah.
All right. These guys know what they've done.
Exactly.
They've lost 2 big riverry games. They beat the crap out of Albany, but they were supposed to do that. Albany's Albany.
Right.
But, we haven't lost a conference game yet.
Right.
We're as a player, we're sitting in that locker room and we're building up a wall. And that's hard to do in the world we're in now, because they got phones and social media and everybody's getting blasted. Everybody wants everybody, executed and all that stuff. But, at the end of the day, we got a Big 12 opener coming Friday or Saturday this weekend, right? And this is a great opportunity to get past.
Put that chip on your shoulder.
Get past. Put the chip on the shoulder. You're now backed up into a corner. And Kansas is too now.
Oh yeah,
they're 1-2. So they're in the same boat we're in,
right.
and they're a Big 12 team, and they were preseason ranked, and they got a good football team. They got to figure it out too. Yeah. We again, you got to find a way to win.
Yeah.
Not find a way to lose.
Right.
All right. You got to, and like you said,
I've always heard to prevent defense just prevents you from winning the game.
All right. So some can be said about that, but a prevent defense is don't let anything get underneath of you.
Right.
I got a couple safeties back there. I got skinny guys that can run and make tackles, and I'm going to swarm to the ball. And when it's 3rd and 20, I'm not going to give you a first down like that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to let you score with just a few minutes left in the damn game.
Right.
Nut it up, man. Figure it out and lock down, play man under coverage, bump the crap out of those guys coming off the line of scrimmage, which we hardly see.
They give them 15-yard cushion.
Because they're worried about that little quick hitch thing,
right?
Blah blah blah. But dang, go man, we got to get, and the thing is again, when you watch it, there are times where, man, that was just a great play. Yeah. That freaking C.J. Donaldson, man, when he gets on his rail, get out of the way, he'll break your neck, man. I mean, that dude can run.
He's a beast of a man.
And I mean, it showed. I mean, we owned the possession time in the game. Had the game almost 10 minutes more.
Right.
We owned the line of scrimmage. We held them to under 80 yards in net rushing. We were 200. Well, minus a couple things. I think we had about 180, 190 yards rushing. So we owned the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
Okay, we really did. Defensively as well. I mean, we had the hurries. We had some TFLs. We had 5 sacks. I mean, that's pretty solid.
Right.
Except, when that kid, the quarterback, is able to extend the play with his feet,
right? Yeah,
you know what I mean. Then we got a problem.
Yeah.
So again, what a great opportunity we got this weekend.
Yeah. Yeah. Right? Well, like you said, so, and we even talked about this last week or maybe our first week. It's a whole new era of college football, right? With the 12-team playoff. Like if you can go through and win as win your division and get in there, I mean, you have a whole new shot, right?
Absolutely.
So
our
the
goals,
Big 12 is still there.
Our goals are still intact.
Right.
Win the conference, make the playoffs. That is still on the table.
Yeah.
That sting from the loss last week.
Yeah.
That one sucks.
Yeah. Right.
When you go out and people are still talking about it. And I'm like, you know what? It's Wednesday. It's Thursday.
Yeah.
Come on now. We got this one to worry about.
Right?
And see, and that's just it. The guys that are in that locker room. That's what they better be doing. They can't be listening to the chirping out there. Right. They got to focus on one thing, and that's coming out.
Yeah,
this is Hall of Fame weekend. It's a big deal. It's the opener. There's a lot riding on this.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to come out 2-2.
Right. Yes.
And it's got to be us because then we go into an open date.
Right.
Right. We get a chance to heal. We get a chance to do some analytics. We got, blah, blah, blah. And then we're back. And then we're back into the meat of this season. So, this game is freaking, this is do or die. This one here is, and I really hope that these guys understand that. And I'm sure they do. And I'm sure the coaches are coaching their butts off. We want to throw everybody under the bus. We're fans. We can do that.
Right.
We're allowed to do that.
Right.
We can be armchair quarterbacks and we can cast judgments all we want.
Right.
Fan is short for fanatic.
Right,
you want to be a fanatic? Right. You bought your ticket. I can say, man, I got booed on my home field one time, right? In Kansas City, first round draft choice, and I'm sitting on the bench. Yeah, boom, 73, boom, and I'm turned around and go, thanks, thanks for being here. You know what I mean?
Those guys made it up.
It is what it is. But again, that none of that matters. Yeah. The only thing that matters is me against that right there. That. And man, that's the greatness of this game.
Yeah.
It is. Every game is a brawl. Every game is a fist fight. Every game is about me trying to take your ground.
Yeah.
And you're standing on it. You ain't gonna let me.
Right.
I mean, come on, man.
Well, the psychology of it too, just hitting on that. Old Don Nehlen didn't have to call you up and say, "Hey, they're giving you a hard time about this or that," or because they're, like you said, they're on Twitter. It's everywhere. You have all these people and talking heads out there saying this, that, or the other about them, and it's hard for them. You're not escaping it, right? It is a different world.
You're not going to escape it.
You're not going to escape it. So the psychological game is that much more than even what it used to be. As far as that.
So what's the word then, Randy? The word then becomes believe. What do you believe?
Yeah.
Okay. Where are you going to put your faith and trust? What do you believe? And if you start to believe what's going on out here, and you're listening to that stuff.
Yeah.
Now your brain gets confused.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so you got to show me. You mentioned Coach Nehlen.
Yeah.
Coach Nehlen, all he had to do was point in a direction, and that's where everybody went.
Yeah.
Right? Because we trusted him and we knew that guy was going to lead us in the battle.
Oh, yeah.
All right? And let his hair down. He never cussed at you.
Yeah.
But let me tell you something. On the sideline, there was no one more intense than Don Nehlen. He didn't have to use foul language. He had Bill Kurlavich. All right? Kurlav used all the F-bombs. And Nehlen would always say, he used them up, I don't have any. All right? He used them all up. But he didn't have to do that. And I guess what I'm trying to say is that, and I heard Neil say it in his press conference earlier this week. He said about, this team will go where I go. So he's got to, strap his big boy pants on and lead us in this crusade. And I mean, that's where we are. So what do you believe in? What do you believe as a player? What do you trust most? And for me as a player, I don't care who's steering the ship. Right. Yeah. If I'm on the ship and I'm down in the engine room, how often am I going to see the captain? Yeah. Unless I'm in trouble.
Yeah. And they need to have somebody that's in that locker room to step up and do exactly that, because you guys had that, right? Same. We talked about that last week. Yes, sir. Right? And you had mentioned Billy Mack earlier. I know he went in the locker room and he would get the guys fired up, but you have to have those vocal voices that's echoing whatever the head coach is saying. Because like you said, the captain might not always be in there. Well, where's the lieutenants? Who else is keeping everybody in line, keeping them fired up and staying on track? And if you don't have that, then you have bigger problems, right?
And that's got to come from the players. There's got to be. I mean, we miss Zach Frazier. Right? Yeah, we miss Zach Frazier's attitude. We miss Zach Frazier's warrior mentality, and he wasn't afraid to get in somebody's eye. He led by example. He played hard. We've got some guys that are coming along. See, we talked about the landscape of football being so different. You look at the roster, a third of the roster is changed over from a year ago. And you got now leadership comes in building trust over time. Right. Now you got guys that are coming and going, and you got someone that might have been a leader in a different locker room show up in your locker room. Now, be that leader, you got to prove yourself. You got to show. You got to make plays. You got to be on the field in practice. You got to earn that, and you don't have a whole lot of time to do that. Yeah. So who is it going to be, and who that leader is? Best be doing their job out there on the field, right? Because leadership, leadership doesn't hold water if the leader ain't getting the job done, right? So tread lightly, And have we seen that yet? I mean, I watch the sideline, and I watch guys getting excited and high fiving, but I haven't seen that emotional right in the middle of it. You mentioned the Slayton era with Owen Schmidt. That was Owen Schmidt's job. Owen Schmidt would bang his freaking helmet against his head, and blood be coming down his face, and he'd be on the sideline going nuts. Yeah. Right? I'll take that when in my era. Yeah. Right? I mean, that was part of my job. Right. Was to because it, first of all, it kept me up. Right. And I feed off of it. Yes. I feed off of it. You give me your emotion, and I give you my emotion. Exactly. And buddy, it lights up. And here we go. We're getting ready, Yeah. And but you got to be able to do that for 4 quarters. You got to be able to do it and sustain it. And that's why, again, I fall back to practice. Yeah. You got to make practice. Yeah. I would love going into a game, and it's easier than the practice. Yeah. And that's
the way it should be.
That's the way.
100%.
I played, on Tuesday and Wednesday were work days. They were full pads, and you went out there and you went, 15 minutes inside, 15 minutes of blitz pickup, and it was live. Right. It was live. Yeah. All right. And you know what? Come game time, so long as those guys in the week were giving me the proper looks, the look team, the scout team, whatever you want to call them, those guys are providing a look. If that guy's not giving me a Bruce Smith look during the week, and I go and I'm playing Bruce on Saturday, right? And all of a sudden I go in there and I got 285 pounds of speed. If I didn't get that look during the week, again, we're back to the simulation. Right. You got to, how many times does a pilot run in a simulator and crash that plane before they ever put the real joystick in his hand? Yeah. Right? I mean, that's just oh man. And I'd like to see, we gotta have some more leadership. And I think here we are, we're in game 4. Yeah. And I think we're going to start to see some of that. I really do. I hope so. And I don't know who it is. Yeah. I really don't. There's a lot of guys that could, step up and take that claim. Right. But we gotta get someone a other than coaches. It's got to come from a player. So again,
a player.
What do you believe?
What do you believe? I haven't really seen that on the sideline where people's grabbing other people and saying, "Do your job, run your assignment," right? And it's one thing to come from a coach, that's what you're expected. But when it comes from a peer, and saying you're not doing your job, get out there and get to that. That's a whole nother level.
Yes, it is.
Right.
Yes, it really is. Absolutely. Because again, there's a level of accountability, for each individual to do their job. And when you don't do the job, that's my bad. But you know what? What didn't you do? Was it a missed assignment? Was it a physical breakdown? Did I go the wrong way? Did I jump off sides? What caused the problem?
Right.
But if you're given the ultimate effort, you can play through some of that.
Yeah.
All right. If I took the wrong step, right, but I'm going 1,000 miles an hour, I'll make something out of it.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Right. I'm going to get something out of it.
Yeah.
I'm just not going to let that little bit of air coming out flatten my whole tire. You know what I mean? And again, that's the thing, man. Is it ain't never over until it's over. God, and knowing that opponent, they're not going to curl up and quit either.
Right.
Because they want it just as bad. This Kansas team that's going to roll in here.
Oh yeah.
I would hope, and I heard it on a couple podcasts, that word desperate. All right.
Yeah.
You ever been desperate? You ever been desperate?
Right.
When you're desperate, you're drowning and you got that last breath or you ain't eaten in 5 days and you're getting desperate now.
Oh yeah.
Well,
that pressure's going to get worse.
Here we are.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Yeah.
On lost 2 big stages.
Yeah.
Here we are. I mean, we're not even on TV now. They're just streaming the game.
Us, yeah.
What's that say? That says, bad job.
Right.
We're taking your cookies.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but you know what? Hey, we're in the driver's seat. Here we are, man. We're in the driver's seat. You go out and do what you're supposed to do and play with that emotion and win the damn game.
Well, this is where our fortitude is honestly tested, right? Because like you said, they could sit in the corner and pout about it, or you can lace up your bootstraps and get back out there and do the job that needs done.
The character.
Yes, because here is the Big 12. And if you don't have those boots laced up extra tight when you're going into Big 12 conference, then you are going to be on the sidelines crying because they will smack you right in the mouth. Every single team that's in the Big 12 will absolutely do that.
That's right.
So, last year they were pissed off because they were picked last, right? So they had something to prove. And then, like you said, they were one Hail Mary away from a 10-win season.
Yeah.
Lots of high hopes and everything. But like you said in our first podcast, guess what? Ratings don't matter. What someone says, Green is a potential Heisman candidate. Anything these talking heads don't matter. That means on the flip side, I could say that Neil Brown's the worst coach. I could say Garrett Green is the worst quarterback in history. But guess what? None of that matters because the only thing that matters is Garrett getting out there and doing what Garrett knows that he can do, right? And Neil doing what he can do.
That's right.
I mean, it should be the flip side too, right? So none of this matters. You need to believe in yourself, put the trust in yourself, and see it in your mind. Speak that into existence. And if they focus on doing that, I do think that they could turn this around and actually turn some heads. But again, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to the fans. It matters to that brotherhood that's in that locker room right now. You leaving your legacy behind is what you can do starting today. If you guys hear this, join together and just do. Don't worry about the outside noise. Don't worry about what we're saying or anybody else is saying. Do what you do and make us Mountaineers proud.
Proof is in performance, not prediction.
Yes.
Okay. Last year, and I'm just going to expand on one thing because you really hit it home. We were picked last in the Big 12 last year.
Yeah.
We go out, we win 9 games. We win our bowl game. Great year.
Yeah.
Going into this season, we were whining about why we're not in the top 25.
Right, yeah.
You know, why is Garrett Green being so underrated? And we're out there but we're saying this in public. You don't say that.
Right.
You don't say that.
No.
You prove it. Right? Because again, for me to go and make excuses and why this and why that, we ain't even played a game yet.
Yeah.
So you don't say nothing.
Yeah.
You go out and perform. Yeah. You do your job. You go out and you perform, and you let your actions speak volumes.
Right.
You don't need to say anything. See, I think that's where we screwed up.
So, and I think you're right. I think that we have a new slogan for West Virginia University right now, and it needs to be "Talk is cheap." Right? No more trust the climb. Talk is cheap. And let's get that out there because you need to be showing it on the field, and that could be the new slogan. Talk is cheap.
You know, and we were chatting about this earlier too. You know, it's more than just, you know, the fan base and watching the game. It's everything else that goes with it. It's the, you know, the hotels and the restaurants and the gas stations and the ancillary people out there, all of us, you know, in business that are, you know, winning is good for all of us.
Yeah.
Well, losing's bad for all of us.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Okay. So there's dollar signs involved. I mean, we're paying guys to play at a high level.
Right.
And if I don't see that, come on now. I mean, that ain't right. You know, you got to be worth your salt.
Yeah.
You got to go out there and show us that you're supposed to be in the Big 12 playing Power 5 football. That you know, are you making physical mistakes that you just can't compete at this level? Well, then why did we bring you here?
Right.
Okay. And while you're here, damn it, you're wearing the WV.
Yeah.
And you're representing. So there is no excuse. I don't care where you're from. As soon as you put that hat on and you put that uniform on, you're representing all of us.
Right, absolutely.
All of us. So don't be going out there and giving us, you know, we want top shelf, and we deserve top shelf.
And it can take just that one player. I know Johnny Manziel, he came in, he was electric for him. That next year they got like $748 million in donations, right?
That's right.
You look at even Coach Deion Sanders, right? He came there. You know the amount of money that flooded in that university? They are going to be good. They are building a program, right? Because they're getting that funding. They're being able to get those upper echelon players. You know, Ohio State, Texas, Alabama, all these universities. They've been able to do that, right? And they're not talking about, oh, we didn't get this or this is unfair. Like Florida State. Florida State last year said, hey, it's unfair. We didn't get in to the college playoffs, right? They were just outside looking in. And then a lot of their players left and they got killed in the bowl game. They were still top 10. Based on what they did last year, they were top 10 this year. Now look at them. They're not even in the top 25. Again, talk is cheap, do it on the field. Right. And that's exactly what's happening with all this. They thought they were better than they were because they're reading all these things. Now, granted, their quarterback, who was awesome, did get hurt late in the season. And that's really what happened to them. But that shows you, if you get that one great player, I mean, I remember even recently with Carl Joseph, I remember they're like, this guy is amazing. And then you see him out there and he's popping people. I mean, popping them to where they're not coming across the middle because they know Carl Joseph's there. They're doing those quick little slant plays. Carl's picking them up and planting them down in the ground. They're not coming back that way again.
That's right.
You have that one electric player, that they de facto become a leader because they're looking to them. What do we do here, Carl? Right? What are we going to do?
We got a couple of those guys.
Yeah. So, and it's having those guys and knowing your role to be able to say, no, we're not losing this because this is a brotherhood. I don't care what the fans are saying or the talking heads or anybody else. The only thing that matters is right here, right now, you know?
And if that guy's not getting it done, he's not playing a great game.
Yeah.
You got to make the adjustment, get him out.
Oh, yeah.
Put somebody else in there and give somebody else on that roster an opportunity to shine.
Yeah.
Because you never know. That guy waiting in the wings
Yeah.
This might be the spark, and all of a sudden you see something really special.
Yeah.
So, be able to go into the reserves a little bit. If this one here ain't getting it done, okay, then make a change.
Adam Bednarik was a great quarterback. He was tough and everything. We were losing to Louisville, and he went down with an injury, and they put in a guy named Pat White. What happened after that, right? So you never know who that next guy is coming up. Right. I remember watching Pat in the blue gold game, though, and I'm like, wow, that guy's electric.
Oh, yeah.
But whenever Bednarik went down and got hurt, and they put Pat, and he made that miraculous comeback, overtime victory, and we never looked back after that. You never know who that next guy is. And again, Bednarik was a good quarterback.
Absolutely.
He was solid. He had good passing game. He could run, and he was a hard-nosed runner. He was the quarterback that he didn't slide. He was going to punch you in the mouth, right?
That's right.
So, but you never know about who the next guy up is, right? So if that person, he can be the best person in your practices, you think he's the guy, but he's not making it in the game, try someone else.
And game time.
It doesn't matter who it is.
How many people have you known that you watch them on a football field, and practice tempo, game tempo is always when you go from the volume 8 to 10.
Yeah. Right.
Even though you've simulated and you worked hard in practice, when you get to the game, you're amplifying. It's different. It's another gear.
Yeah.
It just is. All right. So that guy you're talking about, that backup player, waiting in the wings, chomping at the bit.
Right.
You give them that game situation now, and see what happens.
Yeah.
And like you've said, something might rise to the top really quick.
Right.
First of all, it helps you create depth. You got to have depth.
Oh, yeah.
Great teams last to the end of the season because they've got depth. Yeah. Alabama's third team offensive line is as good as anybody's offensive line in the nation.
Oh, yeah.
That's depth. Okay. Yeah. So if Johnny gets hurt, Billy goes in, and we're in great shape.
Yeah.
You're not going to skip a beat. Okay.
We're trying to 5-star for a 4.
Right. You know what, man? That 4-star, 5-star crap. I was a moon.
Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't even in the constellation. Yeah. So what I'm trying to say is I don't believe in that.
Yeah.
That's prediction.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's just, guy,
well, I think Pat White was like a 2-star, and he was one of the best quarterbacks out there.
Right.
So it is garbage, but that goes back to what you're saying. You never know until that person is in there.
Put them to the test.
Put them to the test.
Put them to the test.
Yeah.
You might just discover something special. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So and when your back's against the wall.
Yeah.
Okay. Now you don't have to go dumping the whole pot and start over. All right. You got to figure out a way to fix what I've done here.
Yeah.
Okay. Because this is what I got.
Right.
But the fixing comes from within. Like we're talking.
Oh, yeah.
You're not going to go out and get anything. You can't run to the grocery store here. Okay. This is what you got.
Yeah.
So you got to find a way within that group to make them believe.
Yeah.
You got to believe that we're going to win the game.
Right.
All right. If you go back to 1984, the Penn State victory, I can tell you that from Sunday evening to 38 seconds left on the clock, we believed we were going to win that football game.
Yeah.
All week long, everybody.
No doubt.
From the freaking secretary, look, I got goosebumps all over me. From the secretary to the trainer to the guy cleaning the wastebasket in the evening. Everybody in that building believed, believed that we were going to win that football game. And nothing was going to stop us. Nothing was going to, and the adversity within the game, you got to play over the officials. You got to play over the mistakes. You got to fight the next play. That short-term memory, if I hang on to anything, the moment that I'm in right now, if I'm worrying about a holding penalty that I got 3 plays ago, then I'm not going to be able to go 110% on this particular play because my brain, your body acts by control.
Yeah. Right.
Correct?
Yeah.
Everything.
Controlled response.
Everything.
Yeah, everything.
I want to move my pinky finger. My brain has to tell my pinky finger. So everything's controlled with this brain. Well, if that brain's thinking about something else in that second, and that's, I mean, how long does a play last? 3, 4, 5 seconds? Stops. I mean, there it is. So in that live moment, if I'm thinking about anything else, if I'm worrying about what the guy next to me is doing, guess what? I'm going to look bad on film.
Oh, yeah.
And we're probably not going to win the game. Yeah. So that belief has to last from start to finish, no matter what. No matter how bad that was at that moment. And that's where that goes back to the leadership on the sideline and in the game. Who's the guy that's ranting and raving about believing it? The wheels are coming off the cart. You know what? If you just let it.
Yeah. Right.
You know what? Hey, so reach into that soul and get everybody to a level. You know, I used to watch, my brother coached it at Wabash out in Crawfordsville, Indiana, D3 school, all male school, right?
Yeah.
And when they had a turnover, okay, so their offense fumbled the ball.
Right.
Their sideline and their defense went nuts with excitement. It was like they were celebrating the offensive fumble. No, they weren't. They were prepare themselves mentally to attack the field and take the ball back.
Right.
All right. In other words, you know, it's like anything else, man. You know, bad stuff's going to happen.
Yeah.
But if you believe and overcome and take it with the emotional surge, you know, yelling and screaming, you know, watch Braveheart.
Yeah.
Those guys didn't go into battle like this. Okay, let's go. You ready? Everybody go. Here we go. Nah, man, you're screaming and yelling and beating a drum and chanting and, you know, let's go. Bring the energy. And if it's not going to come from the fans, if it's not, it's got to come from the guy next to me.
Yeah.
Somebody has to grab it and say, "Let's go."
Yeah.
And you know,
about Daryl Talling, what he did.
There it is.
He, like, if there's something wrong or they got an interception or anything, he's like, "That's my job to get that ball back. I got to get that ball back." Right. And if you don't believe that you can do it, or then. Get that next guy to come up. Again, if you're not fully invested in that is your sole job and you're completely sold on doing that as opposed to I just need to do this or do that, kind of running through the motions. We need that back to hitting them in the mouth kind of.
I'm with you.
Defense.
I'm with you. I hope we see it Saturday.
Oh man,
I hope we see it Saturday.
Yeah.
Hey, let's give our little general plug, little general right there. We appreciate you, and you know, again, I can't say enough about Greg Darby and his team. They do a lot in their communities. They give back. They support. Of course, my love for Children's Hospital. You know, they're involved with us with Children's Hospital. Matter of fact, these are the mugs that we had for the golf tournament. We're going to make these available if you want to pick some of these up. But these things are wonderful, and these guys at Little General, man, they're
the bomb.
You can still
sign up for those footballs, right? Or is that when?
No, I think that one's done. End? I think that promo's done. I think that ended on the day of the pit game, the 14th. Yeah. But they, you know, again, they're always supporting. They're always giving back. You know, so again, support them. You know, stop in when you need a little convenience.
Pick me up.
You stop out right there, Little General. Take care of you, brother. And thank you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know, Trilogy Innovations and you and the studio and being a part of this with Mountaineer Legends pregame, man. It's good stuff.
Happy to team up with Fat Boys Media and bring this new generation again. Just believing and getting the message out there.
You know, and we don't get into a lot of the stats. There's a lot of other podcasts out there. You want to get out in the weeds and get into the analytics of it. You know, I'm all about what the game is truly, and that's what permeates out of you.
Oh yeah.
You know, the passion for the game itself and putting things together and putting things in place and again believing in it. And
we're back to the basics here on this podcast.
Back to the basics. Back to the basics. It's simple.
It is.
KISS. Right?
Yeah, keep it simple,
stupid. I worked for a guy named Homer Smith. Homer was a great offensive coordinator when I was in Kansas City, and he came from UCLA, and he was our offensive coordinator, and that was his deal. KISS.
Oh, yeah.
All the window dressing, all the fancy stuff. We went into a game with 5 runs, 6 passes, and a whole lot of other stuff. But you know what? This is what we're going to do.
Yeah.
This is what we're going to do. We're gonna use this big offensive line we have Saturday, and we're going to pound CJ, and we're going to own the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
Now, what we got to figure out.
Yeah.
How do we stop them?
Yeah.
How do we got to stop him, because if
Leslie has his hands full with the D-backs.
Hey, well, you know what, and that's where we're vulnerable. We've proven that. We're getting we're doing we got
put that next guy up.
Let's go.
If they're not doing
that's my point.
Get that next guy in.
Put the next guy in and find out.
Yeah.
All right, because
right now they're lost.
Right now we're in trouble. That's right. We're exposed.
Yeah, they're either not doing their assignments or something, but they just look lost.
So hopefully they're
some hands on people.
Yeah. Like Daryl says, like Aaron Beasley says.
Yeah, right, Aaron Beasley.
Knock them off their course.
Yeah.
Make them work for everything they're going to get. So we'll see. Hey, I'm anxious.
I tell you what,
I'm anxious.
We might have to start doing the Mountaineer Legends podcast the day before the games with the team, just to have you guys come in and tell them, hey, this is what you're doing it for. This is the brotherhood. Right?
Hey,
once a Mountaineer, always a Mountaineer. That holds true. And
it does.
Being able to hear directly from you guys, I think it would be inspiring.
Well, hey, it matters.
It does.
It does matter. Yeah. It matters to all of us. And, I wanted to win.
Yeah.
I want to win. And especially it's Hall of Fame week. Anthony Beck, Adrian Morrell, and of course Rashid Marshall are all getting from a football group. There's some other good ones that are going in. I went in class of 2000.
2000?
Okay, class of 2000.
Yeah.
And to welcome these guys in is pretty special.
I was at WVU when you went in, actually.
How about that? It wasn't.
I was in college.
Our ceremony was out in the grass, and I think there was like 6 people sitting there. And this is there. It's in the inside building. It's open to the public. Should be a nice big crowd. It's going to be a good time. The atmosphere is going to be great. The weather's going to be gorgeous.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, it's the first Big 12 damn game. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
What more do you want?
I want to win. That's what I want.
Well, that's exactly.
All right, that's what I want. I want a victory. I want a W. All right, dag nabbit.
Yeah.
And that'll help wash some of the taste of the beginning. Right.
Yeah,
it wasn't what we wanted. Too bad. It's over. It's done with. And hey, let's go to work.
Well, on behalf of Big Joe's and myself, thanks so much for joining us today. And we'll be here again next week talking about this week's game.
Hopefully we're talking about a victory.
That W.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. As we say, let's go.
Mountaineers.
That's right. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Hey, Big Joe's here. When I'm in West Virginia doing my traveling and having some fun and visiting some folks, man, I stop at Little General. For all my needs, fuel, convenience, it's the quick stop that you need to take. And down here in St. Albans, look over here, man, they even got a Dunkin' Donut. So, hey, when you're out there, man, support them. They support their communities all around the state of West Virginia. Hey, thanks, Little General. Outstanding job. Hey, Big Joe's here. When I'm in West Virginia doing my traveling and having some fun and visiting some folks, man, I stop at Little General. For all my needs, fuel, convenience, it's the quick stop that you need to take. And down here in St. Albans, look over here, man, they even got a Dunkin' Donut. So, hey, when you're out there, man, support them. They support their communities all around the state of West Virginia. Hey, thanks, Little General. Outstanding job.